Welcome to the Explainer. If you've ever typed a command and just gotten buried in a wall of text, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to talk about how to take all that command line chaos and filter it down into something clean, useful, and actually readable. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You run a single command, hoping for a simple answer, and instead, your terminal just erupts. It's this absolute wall of text, and you're just sitting there thinking, what am I even looking at? You know deep down that the answer you need is somewhere in there, but finding it feels totally impossible. So how in the world do you find that one little needle of information you actually need in this giant, messy digital haystack? Well, today we're going to learn exactly how to do that. To learn how to tame this data tsunami, we need something to work with. Some raw material. And for our example, we're going to use a file that's on pretty much every Linux system out there, the user directory file. It's the perfect candidate. The best way to think about this etc/password file is to just imagine it's the phone directory for your whole system. It's got a line for every single user, and on that line, you'll find their username, a unique user ID, their home directory, and this is really important for what we're doing today, the default shell they get when they log in. Okay, so before we start actually changing this data, we just need a way to look at it, without having to open up a whole text editor. So let's meet our first couple of tools, the pagers, more and less. Both of these let you scroll through a big file one page at a time. Super useful. But here's the key difference you gotta know. When you quit more, it just leaves all that text you scrolled through sitting there, cluttering up your terminal. Less, on the other hand, as well, it's tidier. When you quit, it completely clears the screen and puts you right back where you started. It's a tiny detail, but trust me, it makes a huge difference in your day-to-day workflow. But what if you don't want to scroll through the whole file? Maybe you just need a super quick peek at the very beginning or the very end, just to get your bearings. Well, for that, we have another perfectly named pair of tools. Honestly, it doesn't get much more straightforward than this. Head shows you the top 10 lines of a file, and its partner, tail, shows you the bottom 10 lines. They're incredibly fast, they're simple, and they're perfect for just getting a quick sanity check of your data. So, we've looked at the data, but now it's time to actually do something with it. Let's start to really organize this chaos and find what we're looking for with a couple of real workhorse commands: grep and sort. So, sort does, well, exactly what it sounds like. It takes all that text and arranges it, maybe alphabetically, maybe numerically. It just gives you a much cleaner overview. Then you've got grep. Grep is like your high-powered searchlight. You give it a pattern to look for, and it scans through everything and shows you only the lines that match. So think of it this way. Sort organizes the entire library, but grep goes and finds the one exact book you asked for. Okay, this is the main event. This is where the real magic happens. We're going to start combining these tools into what we call a command pipeline. Just picture a digital assembly line. We're going to feed our raw etc/password file in one end, and then each command we add is like a new workstation that filters and cleans and refines the data until one single perfect answer pops out the other side. So, workstation number 1 on our assembly line is grep, but notice we're using the -v option. That little -v is the secret sauce here. It means invert the match. So we're not telling it what to find, we're telling it what to ignore. We're saying, hey, show me everything except lines that have false or no login in them. And just like that, we filtered out all the system accounts and we're left with only real active users. All right, our list of active users now flows down the assembly line to the next station, TR. TR stands for translate. And we're giving it a very simple job. Find every single colon and translate it into a single space. This just breaks up the data and gets it all prepped for our next step. And now for some of that magic. We take that space-separated data and we pipe it into column T. This command is supposed to take everything and format it into a beautiful, neat table. And it almost works. We're so close. But wait a minute. There's a problem. Look at that. Some of the lines, like the one for the Postgres user, have some extra info in them. And our simple colon to space trick didn't account for that, so it's throwing the whole table out of whack. This shows that simple tools are great, but sometimes you hit their limits. So, how do we fix this? When you hit a problem like this, you need to bring out a more specialized precision tool. And that tool is awk. Now, awk isn't just a command. It's like a tiny little programming language that's built specifically for this kind of text processing. It's smart. It sees our data as columns. We can tell it, hey, I don't care about the middle, just print the first column, that's $1, and the very last column, that's $NF, no matter how many other columns are hanging out in between. So we swap out our old column command with our new, smarter awk command. We pipe the data in, tell awk to print just the first and last fields, and just like that. Look at it, perfection. A clean, perfectly aligned, 2-column list of every active user and their shell. Beautiful. We've got our gorgeous list, but our assembly line has one final stop. What if the question wasn't who are the users, but how many of them are there? Easy. We add one last pipe to WC-L. That stands for word count lines only. Its only job in life is to count the number of lines that get passed to it. And there it is. All that work, all that filtering and translating and selecting and refining, it took us from a screen full of total chaos to a single, clean, definitive number, 6. That is the power of building a command line pipeline. Okay, so we just walked through building one pipeline together, step by step. But the only way to really, truly get good at this stuff is to roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, and build your own. So here are a few challenges for you using that same /etc/password file. Can you build a pipeline that finds only the line for the user cryout13? Or what about one that shows only the usernames from the file, nothing else? How about a user and their specific user ID? And for a bonus, try to make the output separated by a comma instead of a space. Go ahead and pause the explainer right here, pop open a terminal, and see what you can build. And that's really the big takeaway here. We used all these tools today to analyze a simple user list. But this exact same mindset, this idea of an assembly line of commands, you can apply it to almost anything. You could be analyzing web server logs, processing financial data, sifting through scientific research. The possibilities are literally endless. So the real question isn't just how to build a pipeline, it's what are you gonna build one for? Thanks for watching.